Going through his warm-up tosses is the Stripers starter, lefty Zach Logue. He's our Pontoon Brewing starting pitcher of the game. The pontoon lifestyle is the idea of escaping all the daily stresses and relaxing on a pontoon boat with a cold one in hand. Shades on, bottoms up. That's the Pontoon Brewing lifestyle. Logue, no record so far as a Striper. And he is starting his second game of the season, making his first ever appearance at Coolray Field tonight. The 27-year-old from Mason, Ohio, 6 foot, 165 pounds. He's a member of Gwinnett's opening night roster, made his club debut in relief in the Stripers' Sunday game at Jacksonville in their first series of the season. Curtain rises on Friday night, and the first pitch is off the outside to Jose Fermin. Fermin, a very dangerous batter, and not just in what he can do with the bat, but in terms of getting on base. On the 1-0, Fermin takes outside again. So he quickly jumps in front 2-0, and that illustrates one of the themes for Fermin in this entire series. He has 3 of the 8 Memphis walks. The Stripers have limited them from the mound as the 2-0 catches the zone for a strike. But Fermin, he can get on base in many different ways and put pressure on a defense and opposing pitcher, especially to begin a game. 2-1 pitch. He crushes one deep to left field. Turn it around and watch it is Garcia. This one's headed for the Striper bullpen, and it is gone. On the 4th pitch of the ball game, the red-hot Jose Fermin stays that way, and it's 1-0 Redbirds, 1 batter into the game. The StatCast distance is 420 feet, hit 102 miles per hour off the bat, and it looked that way. So now Logue back to work. First pitch breaking ball wraps outside. Ball 1. Cesar Prieto batting .308 against the Stripers through 3 games in this series, a double and RBI. 1-0 pitch. That catches the outer third for a strike. Now Prieto adjusts the top of his helmet. This is an ABS challenge game, so they can tap the top of their helmet and call for a challenge, but that was not the case there. On the 1-1, Logue deals, and it is lifted back up and out of play, foul. Ball and 2 strikes on Prieto. That is the first run allowed by Zach Logue so far this season, with Gwinnett as a starter. 1-2, Logue deals, and it is slash foul. Catching the netting over the Stripers' dugout down the third base line. So we'll have the 5th pitch upcoming in this at-bat. 9th of the ball game for Logue. He's trying to settle in after giving up the leadoff home run to Jose Fermin. Here comes his 1-2. Clicked off the very top of the bat. Rolling foul toward the Stripers' dugout once again. That was the breaking ball for Logue. He's got a very large menu of pitches and he can deal to opposing batters. 4-seam fastball, cutter, changeup, curveball, and sinker all register for Logue. Another 1-2. Sammy goes with the breaking ball and misses outside. That was the curveball at 79. His fastball hangs around in the low 90s at 91 to 92. Cutter at 86 to 88. Sinker a little bit faster, 87 to 90. 2-2 pitch, chopped over Logue. Back of second, handled there by the shortstop Waddell. Throws across his body in time to the first baseman Phillip Evans. And that is the first out at the top of the first. 2 batters in, 1-0 Redbirds. Jose Fermin on the board himself with a solo homer from the leadoff spot. Now let's work in the Stripers' defense. From left to right in the infield, Alejo Lopez at third base. Luke Waddell, you just heard him make the play at shortstop. Now let's get the first pitch to Thomas Ajayci. It is a called strike. Fastball over the outer third. Second baseman is Andrew Velasquez. First baseman, Phillip Evans. From left to right in the outfield, Larry Garcia, J.P. Martinez, and Luis Liberato. A 1 off the handle back to the screen near where Lucan Baker is standing. Baker on deck, the designated hitter tonight. Thomas Ajayci batting .288 with a homer, 10 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. It's the 15th game he's played in for the Redbirds so far in 2024. Doing the catching for Logue is Sebastian Rivero. Pitch in tight. Twisting out of the way is JC. It's a ball and 2 strikes. That was a cutter in around the knees at 88. So JC, the Cardinals' number 4 overall prospect. On this 1-2, he swings and loops it foul off the netting, this time over the Redbirds dugout down the first base line. And Logue has had to labor through this first inning. Already up to 15 pitches with just an out on the board. Already a run in for Memphis. Jose Fermin hitting his 3rd of the season in the top of the first. Another 1-2. This one clicked foul back to the pads. A very solid contact from the 2 batters after Fermin. But one thing they have done is see a lot of pitches as Logue retreats a little bit deeper in the mound. Tosses the rosin bag around. Sweeps his right foot across the rubber and now comes set. In action is Logue. His 1-2. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes to JC. And a big confidence boost for Logue. 2 down in the top of the first. Now here's Lucan Baker. 2 for 9 so far in this series. Baker near the league lead in RBIs, tied for 9th, entering the ball game. First pitch to Baker, breaking ball in tight. And Baker lays off, ball and no strikes. Last year was very good against Gwinnett in 11 games, hitting .293 with 3 doubles. 1-0, below the zone with a changeup, and it's 2-0. That's how it started against Fermin. It was 2-1 when Fermin took Logue deep. 2-0 pitch, called strike at the northeast corner of the strike zone. Now a challenge has been called for by Lucan Baker. That is the voice of the home plate umpire, Jacob Metz, who's the crew chief. And Lucan's challenge is successful. Just missed by quite literally less than half an inch. The ABS animation shows you how far it missed. And that said, with the arrow sign, less than half an inch. 3-0 pitch now, in tight. First walk issued by Logue. And Baker, who again is known for his power, but also is a guy who can draw some walks. At an OPS over 1,000 with Memphis last year. And he draws a free pass here with 2 outs in the top of the first. Jacob Metz, the crew chief behind the plate. You know his voice already after that ABS challenge. Michael Raines at first base, and Reniero Valero is typically stationed down the third base line. With the runner on first, he moves back at the pitcher's mound near the second base bag. Lefty on lefty matchup for the first time. Here's the first baseman, Alfonso Rivas. First pitch to Rivas outside, tugged by Logue. Wasn't trying to miss the zone there or elicit a chase. He wanted to get inside the zone. You can sense a little bit of frustration for Logue in this top of the first. A run is in for Memphis. They lead 1-0. He's set with his 1-0 pitch. In flight, and time is going to be called for almost as soon as the pitch arrived, as Sebastian Rivero, the catcher, may be noticing something in the mechanics of Logue. As soon as he caught that, his right hand was in the air calling for time, and he was almost jogging to meet the pitch. Another pitch, this time a cutter that looked to be tugged a little bit, yanked and released a little bit too late in the delivery of Zach Lowe. And that seems to be the miss in this first inning. And Sebastian Rivero, who has had plenty of years of catching experience, he noticed something, and we don't need a manager or a pitching coach to visit here. Rivero is going to do the teaching himself. Obviously, some words of encouragement probably came with that. Lucan Baker, who's definitely not a threat to run, has a moderate lead at first base. Count is 2-0. Here it comes. That's a called strike. Sinker at the bottom of the zone gets Logan to this count. Ribas from Chula Vista, California, near where San Diego is. Last year played with the Padres in 8 games. 2-1. Rivas to the left side, and that'll get through in between Waddell and Lopez. chasing it down in the gap in left center is Martinez to cut it off in front of the left fielder Garcia. Throw skips away from Luke Waddell, but not advancing is Baker from second base. Lopez races almost toward the pitcher's mound to track it down the loose ball. And the Stripers probably fortunate that Luke and Baker is the lead runner, because a much speedier runner probably takes off there. Logue had gone over to cover it near third base, and no one was occupying the space near the pitcher's mound or in the middle of the infield. Now Moises Gomez on the first pitch. Gomez takes up and away. Gomez, the sixth batter of the inning. 2 hits in this first for Memphis. They have 2 base runners and a 1-0 lead. Logue has a runner at second. Now he's 1-0. Is hit back to the screen, foul. It climbs on top of the netting with its momentum and ends at the very edge of where the home plate front row seating ends, right in front of the Memphis dugout, going down to the first base line. Good crowd here tonight at Coolray Field on Friday. 1-1 here from Logue, up and away, 2-1. So after the late release miss, he's missing more to the arm side this time, the lefty Logue. Up and away so far to Gomez has been the miss. His 29th pitch of the inning is a fly ball into shallow right. Charging in Liberato. Going out is Evans. Liberato has to do the pop-up dance and make a late course correction to his right, but he makes the catch. And a belt high. Inning is over. A nice welcome from the crowd here in Lawrenceville for Forrest Wall, who's in from the left side, the Stripers' leadoff batter. And Sam Roberts, his first pitch of the ball game, and the Memphis righty has found the zone. 0-1 on Forrest. It was just optioned down this morning after Atlanta selected the contract of Luke Williams, who was Forrest's teammate here in Gwinnett last year and with Atlanta. Hits this one off the handle out near second and past the outstretched reach of Jose Fermin. Forrest Wall, welcome back to Gwinnett. He's got a base hit on the second pitch he sees. That was not barreled up at all, but Forrest with a very level swing and some good upper body strength hit that one off the handle of the bat, and a one bounce pass, Jose Fermin, who was racing towards the hole up the middle. And now we get to see one of the more electric players that has ever worn a Gwinnett uniform on the base path. Forrest, he's very dangerous as a base runner. J.P. Martinez in the box. Martinez watches ball one. Lefty batting Martinez, typically the Stripers' leadoff batter. But now Gwinnett has the man who occupied that spot most of last season on base. 1-0 to Martinez. Swing and a miss. JP batting .305, 2 homers, 3 RBIs. He has 7 stolen bases in 10 attempts. For Forrest Wall last year, he set the Gwinnett single-season record with 52 stolen bases. And he's off at first. The good-sized lead. The 1-1 from Robertson. Martinez squares to bunt, puts it down third base line, but it goes foul. Trying to advance Forrest Wall into scoring position. First base sometimes can be scoring position for Wall. We saw some routine base hits turn into scoring opportunities, and successful ones at that, with Forrest on first base last year. 1-2, Robertson set at the belt. Now turns and picks over towards Wall, who dives back. Getting that blue and black gradient Defenders of the Diamond Knight jersey dirty. Martinez with the red batting gloves, awaiting this 1-2 pitch. Lifts it foul. Back up and out of play. A lot of pitches in on the hand so far to these Gwinnett batters, and that's for a reason. You're looking at a primary cutter pitcher in Sam Robertson, 21 years of age from Zeist, Netherlands. And the Dutchman's 1-2. Down and away. 87 miles an hour, that one. The changeup, and a very fast changeup at that. Fading away from the lefty batting Martinez. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wall, who got on with a base hit in the first 2 pitches, has not moved from first base. He doesn't here on the 2-2. It is very close, and Martinez is punched out, but he wants another look at it. One fan cries for some consistency, and ABS challenge proves that Martinez was right. That missed by an inch above the zone. Instead of being punched out, Martinez will see a payoff pitch here with 1 on and nobody out. 1-0 Redbirds in the bottom of the first. And Sam Robertson, with a baseball at his back, now brings it set at the belt. On the third base side of the rubber, Wall takes off. Swing and a miss. Martinez is gone. Throw down to second, and Wall is out. Good tag applied by the shortstop, Sajasi, who raced over to cover. It was a nice throw from Pajes, the catcher, to the right field side of the bag, exactly where you want it and very low. And that throw was waiting for Forrest Wall, who got a good break on the pitch. And something we rarely saw last year was Forrest getting thrown out. He was 52 for 60 at an 87% success rate in stolen base attempts. Now Alejo Lopez, our interview guest on the Cool Ray Heating and Cooling pregame show, takes a strike on the inner third. Now he wants to look at it. Here's the animation, and that was firmly in the zone. Northeast corner of the strike zone. Worthy of a challenge for Lopez. Active batting stance. The switch hitting Lopez from the left side. Swings and bounces it foul. And it's no balls, 2 strikes. 1 strikeout down for Robertson, who has not allowed anything more than 1 run in an inning so far in 2024. And he has been very good on the road, making his 3rd start away from Memphis this year. He is 2-0 with a 1.80 ERA. 2 earned runs in 10 innings worked. He's got Lopez down 0-2. Alejo chokes up on the bat. Crouches down, swings, and bounces it foul right at home plate. That may have caught a piece of Alejo. Alejo, who calls himself a natural righty, but has worked as a switch hitter since he was 14 and is hitting above 300 from both sides of the plate so far in 2024. Awaiting this 0-2 from Robertson. Here it comes, and Lopez swings through it. Strike 3, and the Stripers do go down in order despite the leadoff single from Wall. He's thrown out trying to steal second, and back-to-back strikeouts from Robertson. Zach Logue back to work. This time against Jared Young, lefty batting left fielder tonight. Young watches strike 1. Jared Young batting 156 on the season, but got a hold of one on Tuesday night. Takes another strike from Zach Logue, and he's quickly down 0-2. That was a 2-run homer off of Ray Kerr on Tuesday night. It was the only homer of the series for Memphis so far. One thing the Stripers pitching staff has done very well is limit free passes and limit anything hard hit leaving the yard. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball in there, and it is smacked back to the screen. Will remain 0-2. Just swinging under that was Young. Zach Lowe gets a fresh baseball. 27-year-old southpaw from Mason, Ohio. In his motion, he deals, and a swing and a miss. A strikeout starts the second for Lowe as he gets Jared Young on 4 pitches. Second strikeout for Logue, who had prolific strikeout numbers with Atlanta in spring training down in Northport, Florida this year. An 11.88 strikeout per 9 inning ratio. And now we'll deal to Pedro Pajes. Pops the mitt for strike 1. Pajes watching all the way. The right-handed batting catcher tonight for the Redbirds with gradient red and white shoes, standing very deep in the box. On the 0-1, he takes up and away from Logue. Logue struck out 11 in 8 1/3 innings of work, and opponents hit just 194 against him. Lefty in his motion, deals to Pajes, is 1-1, crack back to the screen, foul. Interesting to see how far Logue works tonight. 3 scoreless innings he gave the Stripers on April the 12th against Omaha. That was in Nebraska. The game the Stripers ended up winning 7-6. And now timeout's called before the 1-2 pitch. One and two the count. And Pajes steps back into the box. With those bright yellow canary batting gloves, Pajes takes upstairs 2-2. Logue is already allowed a run in this game. A leadoff home run hit by Jose Fermin. He's working in the number 8 batter in the order. Pajes swings and shoots one foul off the netting. That one was headed for the sweet level down the first base line, where the netting grabbed it and put it back in play. And you know that Logue, dealing to 7, 8, 9 in the order to start the top of the second, wants to get them in order so he doesn't have to face Fermin with traffic on the base path. His 2-2 pitch to Pajes is shot back up the middle, a base hit into center field. Martinez will field and send it back into the infield. Pajes on with a 1-out single. That was the changeup from Logue. And that'll bring up Mike Antico, the center fielder. Last man in the order for Ben Johnson. Changeup has been hit around a little bit tonight from Logue. His first pitch ducks down and away to Antico, ball 1. It was a changeup that Jose Fermin hit 420 feet in the first inning. And the first hit of the second inning on Pajes' single, also the changeup. 1-0 pitch is flared to the left side on one hop. It gets through the infield. Shaded towards the bag was the shortstop Waddell, so huge vacancy there. And the lefty Antico, who rarely goes to the left side of the field, does so there to register back-to-back hits for the Redbirds. And this is exactly the scenario that Zach Logue was hoping to avoid. With 1 out, it's Jose Fermin. A solo homer his last time up, but Fermin, who has been red hot so far this season, 3rd in OPS in the International League, awaits the first pitch. He swings and hits it back to the screen, foul. That was Fermin's 3rd homer of the season. His 2nd extra base hit of this series, had a double already. And his first RBI of the series as well. A 1 pitch, right back to the screen again. Well, he's on top of it. And just missing these offerings from Logue. Righty batting Fermin with the tall striped socks. And some very nice looking cleats. Those are modeled after the original Jordan brand shoe. Red, white, Nike shoes with a black swoosh as Logue started in his motion, then wheeled around and looked back. The lead runner, Pajes, at second. 2 on, 1 out in the top of the second inning, and it's golden hour Coolray Field as the orangish-yellow sunset reflects on the batter's eye in center. Logue again eyes the lead runner and deals. It is way up and out of the zone. Count is 1-2 after 2 foul balls and a fastball that climbed the ladder and did not get a swing from Fermin. Jose Fermin with the bat resting on his right shoulder. Takes inside, had to skip rope, and is now going to jog down the first base line. But Jacob Metz says that didn't hit him and is going to call him back. Fermin with a long exhale as he walks back into the box. But no animosity for the umpire, just a smile on his face. I think he thought he was going to get away with one. He was very close to his right toe, no question. if you're hitting as hot as he is, why not swing away? And he does so on this 2-2 pitch and sends it soaring toward the parking lot off the first base line. 2 on, 1 out. Logue struck out Jared Young to start the inning. That feels like a long time ago. Struck him out on 4 pitches. Now in a battle here with Fermin. Fermin sends a saucer down the left field line and headed towards the concourse. What a battle. 2-2 here. This will be pitch number 7 of this at-bat. Lefty Logue deals and misses up and out of the zone. And Jose Fermin showing you why. He has 3 of the 9 Memphis walks in this series. Luken Baker has 1 tonight. That's the only one so far for the Redbirds, but after Fermin was down 0-2, he's worked the count full, and here it comes. He just slides the bat under the ball and is able to lift it out of play. A 5-alarm emergency swing for Fermin. 1 hand on the bat, and the logo on his left batting glove facing the sky, and he just caught a piece somehow to stay alive and see a 9th pitch in this at-bat. Here it comes. Fermin takes ball 4. What a battle, and a frustrating at-bat for Zach Logue, who had to expend nearly 20% of his output tonight from the mound against Jose Fermin, a guy that, out of anybody in this Memphis order that he wanted to get out, it was Fermin, the guy who took him deep the last time up. And now the bases are loaded with 1 out, and here comes Mike McCarthy jogging out to the mound for a conference with Sebastian Rivero and Logue. Bases are loaded for Memphis. Pajes, the catcher, will be the lead runner at third, and Tico, the center fielder, with plenty of speed in a scoring position at second. And at first is Jose Fermin, the leadoff batter, plenty of speed himself. Cesar Prieto is in the box. Prieto, who played in 11 games against Gwinnett last year for 2 different teams. Bats from the left side, standing very close to the plate. On the first pitch, he hits a foul ball that rattles around near the plate at the instep of Sebastian Rivero's right foot, and then the instep of his left foot. And a fresh pearl served up to Zach Logue on the bump. Toss to the rosin bag. Now he digs into the rubber. Comes set and straightens up. Here's his 0-1. Swing and a miss. Nice curveball. Gets the one-handed off-balance finish from Prieto to jump in front. No balls and 2 strikes. Prieto in a situation with the bases loaded and 1 out. 1-0 Memphis. Lefty Zach Logue deals. Got him swinging. Hook, line, and sinker. 3 pitches in a huge spot with the bases loaded and 1 out. And Zach Logue finds exactly what he's looking for. His 3rd strikeout of the outing, 2nd of the inning. And those 2 strikeouts sandwiched between 2 singles and a walk that loaded the bases. Now Sajaci, who struck out his last time up. In from the right side, Sajaci with no batting gloves, very close to the plate, swing at the first pitch. Rolls it to Waddell. He'll go to second. Zach Logue, you're out of trouble. Strands the bases loaded and keeps this a 1-0 game. That has got to feel great for Zach. 21-year-old from the Netherlands. Robertson got the Stripers down in order in the first, despite a leadoff single from Forrest Wall. His first pitch at the bottom of the second is outside, ball 1. Change up from Robertson, 4-pitch guy. Seen the cutter a lot so far to lefties tonight. It's been a lot of lefties to greet Robertson so far. Switch hitting Garcia in from the left side. His open stance and a swing and a chopper foul. Back to the vacant on deck circle for the Redbirds. Garcia, Waddell, and Phillip Evans. And Garcia, the best hitter of the bunch so far in 2024, batting .355. Ball and a strike. Robertson in his motion. Brings it home and burns the edge for a strike. Fastball at 91. Garcia with that oak-colored bat Almost got a maroon tint to it. Rested on his left shoulder, now awaiting the 1-2 pitch. Bounces it to the right side, taken on twin hops by Fermin. Had to hurry his throw with a speedy Garcia moving up the line, but no trouble there. First down of the inning on a ground out to second. Here's Luke Waddell. Changed his walk-up song today to ABBA, and when I saw him in the clubhouse and he told me he wanted to change his walk-up song, I said, sure, Luke, to what? And he said, Gimme, Gimme, Gimme by ABBA, and I had to do a double take. Just not what I was expecting, but a good song to walk up to, as Waddell takes a strike at the knees on a fastball in 91. So I said we can change it tonight, Luke, but if the Stripers win, we do our post-game interview after the game. You got to be the subject. Said, all right, deal. Swings through a changeup off the plate, fading away from the lefty batting Waddell, and he's down, no balls and 2 strikes. Of course, if Waddell struggles tonight, maybe we'll have another change in the walk-up song. 0-2 pitch that is spiked in the dirt, ball 1. But I hope not, because it's good to hear Swedish rock band ABBA at the ballpark for one of our better hitters so far in the season. Waddell has been so prolific with triples this year, and now the Stripers get Forrest Wall back, a guy who was very good at hitting triples last year as well. Swing and a foul tip back into the glove of Pajes, and Waddell has gone on strikes. Third strikeout in 5 batters for Robertson. You got to imagine, being from the Netherlands, that Robertson has heard plenty of ABBA in his life as well. With that red color glove, brings it behind his head, now deals, and a swing and a bouncing ball to the left side. Picked there at third on a nice play by Cesar Prieto, and Evans is down on 1 pitch. And the Stripers are down in order once again. It remains 1-0 Memphis after 2. We'll be right back. This is Stripers Baseball on MyCountry993.com and Valley Live. Luke and Baker, the 2023 International League MVP, waiting this first pitch from Zach Logue, and he'll jump in front. A ball and no strikes. Zach Logue in his motion, and his 1-0 pitch. Baker swinging at it a little bit late and sends a slicing foul ball headed towards the parking lot off of first. Baker very dangerous with the bat, as I mentioned. Was tied for first in the International Leagues in homers last year, and watches a strike. It was a fastball poured across by Logue to go ahead 1-2 in the count. Hit 33 homers last year in 84 games. 1-2, and that hit Baker. It skipped in and may have caught him on the right ankle. Showing some signs that definitely hurt a little bit, as he's going to hobble down the first base line and take his free pass. But hard to really call that free, because with little speed Baker is going to possess at first as a threat to run. He's now going to be doing that on a momentarily bum ankle. Logue hits his first batter of the ball game, and it's his third free pass issued. Now scoring a bunt is Rivas. Off the mound to get it is Logue. He throws out Rivas at first, and Baker goes down to second, and he's grimacing over there at second. He's got a grimace slash a smile, as if to say, I really have to run on the very first pitch after getting hit in the ankle? And he did, and the Stripers, after throwing out Rivas at first, threw down to second just to check on Baker, who's taking a long time to get there. Now here's Moises Gomez. First pitch to Gomez over the outer third for a called strike. Sacrifice bunt for Alfonso Rivas has put a runner into scoring position with 1 out here in the top of the third. Southpaw Zach Logue misses outside with a changeup. Count is 1-1. Moises Gomez, the right fielder, flew out to the other man in right field, Luis Liberato, to end the first inning. 1-1 pitch, and that is a foul ball. Lifted up and out of play. Got some colorful batting gloves on this Memphis team. Bright blue batting gloves for Moises Gomez. Redbirds wearing their all-gray uniforms tonight. Salmon-colored numbers on the 1-2 pitch. Gomez takes. Inside is the call, but we're going to get a challenge. That was a four-seam fastball, one of the harder ones that Logue has thrown tonight at 92 miles per hour, and it is strike three. Northwest corner of the strike zone, and we'll see Moises Gomez later on. Fourth strikeout for Zach Logue, who has pitched with traffic on the base pass in every frame so far tonight. Stranding 2 in the first and leaving the bases loaded in the second. Now he deals to Jared Young, who he got to strike out swinging in the second. Missed outside there with the curveball for ball one. Jared Young from Prince George, British Columbia. Logue with a closed-off stance, lefty from the first base side of the rubber, and handcuffed on a swing and a miss is Young. Ball and a strike. Runner on second is Lucan Baker. He was hit by a pitch to lead off this inning. And a sac bunt and a strikeout has put 2 outs on the board. 1-1 in flight, and it rides above the zone. 2 balls and a strike. Zach Logue up to 63 pitches. Through 64 in his last outing against Memphis. He straightens up and sends home his 2-1. Breaking ball, that did catch the outer third. Logue put it exactly where he wanted to. That would have been a tough pitch to barrel up. And it's the added bonus that it finds the zone. And we got Deuces Wild ready for Logue's 67th pitch of the night. One check on the runner at second, brings it home. Goodbye, Jared Young. Back-to-back strikeouts. This one looking. Adding 217 on the season, 3 runs batted in. Lefty with a waggle of the bat. Watches the one-strike pitch. It is a called strike from Jacob Metz, but we get another challenge called for. Video board currently not working in terms of the line score and balls and strikes, but the ABS challenge is working, and Liberato is correct. A miss below the zone on a changeup at 86. Robertson back to work. Here's his pitch, and that is spiked in the dirt. We're still in the nascent stage of the ABS challenge system. We've had some really exciting moments. We've had some moments where it looked a little glitchy, but this appears to be the future in baseball. Liberato hits a high chopper over the mound, charges Fermin, bare hand pick, throw on the run. Nice play by Jose Fermin, and it takes a hit off the board for Gwinnett. No chance for Robertson to get it, and Fermin, if he gloves that and has to make an exchange, you're probably not getting the very speedy Liberato, and so his only option was to barehand it. It took a playable hop, and he made a nice play. All the balls put in play have been groundouts against Robertson. Sebastian Rivero swings and misses. Cutter below the zone. And Rivero, the right-handed batting catcher tonight, his average 129 on the young season. 30th pitch from Robertson is a ground ball to the left side. On 2 hops, it comes up for Cesar Prieto, and his throw across the diamond is true for out number 2. Now Andrew Velasquez. Velasquez, 29 years of age, from the Bronx. Was originally a 7th-round draft pick back in 2012 with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he tanks just off the outside from Robertson for ball 1. Was a lot of different places last year. Played for the Angels, played for AAA's Salt Lake, so played a rehab assignment with the Arizona Angels. He swings at the 1-0 pitch, sends a towering fly ball. A cloud scraper that is going to come down in shallow center, and calling everybody off is Antico to make the catch. Facing the minimum the first time through the order is Sem Robertson, and he has preserved Memphis' 1-0 lead from the very beginning of the game through 3. Pedro Pajes, Mike Antico, Jose Fermin due up for Memphis. 1-0 when we return in the top of the 4th. This is Stripers Baseball on MyCountry99.3.com and Valley Live. As we begin the top of the 4th to the instrumental break from Careless Whisper, our in-between inning music here at Coolray Field. Night beginning to fall as Zach Lowe goes through his motion and pitches a first pitch strike to Pedro Pajes. Pajes, the number 15 prospect in the Cardinals system, 25 years of age, from Venezuela. Down no balls and 2 strikes, now down 0-2 on a swing and a miss. Yeah, B with the high chatter there. Fastball above the zone from Logue has put him ahead. No balls, 2 strikes. 70 pitches for Logue, who's gotten a little more stretched out than his previous outing, where he threw 63 through 3 scoreless against Omaha. He's 0-2, sends it home, and it is sent back to the screen off the bat of Pajes. Pajes picked up his first base hit of the series in his first at-bat of the ball game, a single that got him on base, and then Mike Antico, who's on deck, followed with a single. Jose Fermin walked after that to load the bases. 0-2 pitch off the outside, ball 1. And from there, we saw the grit and tenacity of Zach Logue in a situation where Memphis was chomping at the bit to add to their 1-0 lead. He struck out Cesar Prieto and got a ground out to get out of the inning. That 1-2 pitch missed. And now it's 2-2. Pajes spanning 188 on the season. This is game number 6 for the catcher. Logue deals, and it is sent foul, headed for the sweet level down the first base line. So once again, we've got a leadoff batter who is really battling with Zach Logue. As Logue has struggled to overpower batters, but has been very crafty and has racked up 5 strikeouts. Another 2-2. This one dives low below the zone, a sinker at 90. Logue rarely throws that sinker. He's a 5-pitch mix guy. Normally fastball with a cutter and a changeup to play off it. Full count. Here's the pitch. Very close. Ball 4 called to the plate, and a challenge called for by Rivero. Pajes, meanwhile, ditching his protective gear, and he's out. He was handed it to one of the bat boys halfway down the first base line, and ABS called that a strike by a fingernail. At the bottom of the zone on the outer third, Pajes is down on strikes, and it's 3 in a row for Zach Logue, who has really settled in tonight. Now he'll have a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Mike Antico, first pitch swinging, lifts a foul ball down the left field line. The ball's in 1 strike. Antico singled his last time up. On this 0-1, Zach Logue set and now into his motion. Lifts his left leg, brings it home, swinging a pop fly. Back for it is the third baseman Lopez, calling everybody off. Now he's going to get called off by the left fielder Garcia, charging down towards the foul line to make the catch. Two down in the 4th. And Jose Fermin, who represents all the scoring tonight with his leadoff solo homer, 3rd of the year in the 1st. And it's already been an eventful night for Fermin, as he takes a first pitch strike. Fermin homered in his first at-bat, and then a long at-bat his second time to the plate. Here's the 0-1. Fermin swings, puts it on the ground, past the dive of the shortstop Waddell, and into left field. And for the third time tonight in 3 at-bats, Jose Fermin has reached base. He's got 2 of the 5 Memphis hits tonight. And that brings up Cesar Prieto. That walk for Fermin the previous time up was 9 pitches. And Prieto struck out with 1 out and the bases loaded. A windup, but a pick over toward first. Back safely with the dive is Fermin. 5 for 5 on stolen base attempts. So far in this series, Memphis has run a lot. Here's a swing on the first pitch and a fly ball deep to right field. Going back is Liberato. It's going to one-hop the wall. Charging around third is Fermin. Ditches the helmet. He's going to get waved in. The relay is going to be bobbled by the second baseman Velasquez. And scoring easily is Jose Fermin from first base on a smoke double by Cesar Prieto, whose 0 for 2 night is no more. Back-to-back hits for Memphis, and they lead it 2-0. All the runs supplied by the first 2 men in the order. And Fermin is responsible for both. He scored both, drove in 1, and with his speed flew around first there. And the Redbirds piece it together with 2 outs. Now Sajasi takes a first pitch up and out of the zone. One and 0 the count. So JC with no batting gloves, awaiting this 1-0 pitch. Hit a swing and a miss. One and 1. Nothing but some tape on the left wrist for Thomas Ajayci. The young shortstop late on the fastball from Logue and able to slice it out of play over the netting down the first base line. Fastball at 90 miles per hour. So Prieto hits his 3rd double of the season to make it 2-0, scoring Fermin from first. Well, this offense coming with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th after Lowe got the first 2 batters out. Now he throws his 1-2, so JC golfs it to center field, starting in, now drifting back. JP Martinez has it in his sights and makes the catch. Witcher Park, Florida's Forrest Wall in the box from the left side. Sam Roberts' first pitch at the bottom of the 4th is low, ball 1. Roberts' 33rd pitch of the outing. And that illustrates how well he has cruised through the order the first time through against Gwinnett. His 1-0 off the outside to Forrest Wall. 2-0 the count. Not the guy you want to put on first base. Forrest with 52 stolen bases last year. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that was a Gwinnett single-season record last year. 2-0 from Robertson to the lefty Wall early on the pitch and chops it foul to the netting on the pull side down the first base line. Wall the only man with a hit in the Stripers order tonight. And that came in the very first at-bat of the game for the Stripers. And was thrown out trying to steal second. 2-1 pitch. Under the zone. Picked out on the dirt by the catcher Pajes. And it's 3-1 to Forrest Wall. JP Martinez will bat next. Alejo Lopez also due up here in the bottom of the 4th. 2-0 Memphis. Robertson deals, and Forrest swings. Hits a towering pop fly that is going to drift back out of play on top of the roof. Right above us in the press box. Day has faded tonight. We're in the twilight hours. Little overcast ceiling has rolled in here in Lawrenceville. 3-2 the count. Sam Robertson, the Redbirds righty, deals, and Forrest Wall chips it back into the mitt of Pedro Pajes to go down on strikes. Strikeout number 4 for Robertson. He has had at least 4 strikeouts in his previous 3 starts. 5 in his last 2. And now here's Martinez. The lefty takes just off the outside with a slider for ball 1. That's the pitch that Robertson used the second most in his most previous outing against Nashville, where he went 4 2/3. Already 3 innings in the rearview mirror for Robertson. And the 1-0 pitch misses inside, 2-0. JP struck out swinging in the first inning, and we finally see him again in the 4th after Robertson faced the minimum the first time through the order. 2-0 pitch. The righty deals. It is on the ground to the right side. Down to his left knee goes Rivas to gather and step on the bag at first base. 2 away. Dominant outing from Robertson. And we can begin to call it that because he has retired every batter he's faced since that leadoff single. Now 10 in a row. Alejo Lopez, who struck out to him the first. The switch hitter in from the left side. A two-tone bat with the black barrel and the tan handle. In from the left side, very upright, but he'll crouch down on the pitch, as he does here, and he swings and hits it back to the screen, foul. Oh and 1 on Alejo Lopez. Now batting .327 on the young season. An .806 OPS. 0-1 pitch in tight. 1-1. Lopez last year was 7th in the International League in walks at 79 in 125 games. Even in the count here on the 1-1, he swings and misses. A disappearing changeup from Robertson, whose changeup almost looks like a splitter or a forkball. It looks like it travels to the plate and then all of a sudden runs off a cliff, diving below the zone. Now the 1-2 pitch, very high. Lopez takes it eye level and was over the plate, but uncompetitive offering on 1 and 2. Lopez also 9th in on-base percentage last year, and chops it foul off of first on the 2-2. And the International League's 3rd longest on-base streak, reached in 42 consecutive games for the Louisville Bats last year, where he played the majority of the season with AAA Louisville. Deuces wild. Sam Roberts' 2-2 pitch is bounced foul. This one a high chopper off the first base line. Lands on the SoFi artwork in foul ground off of first. That 42-game on-base streak, as I mentioned, it was tied for the Louisville franchise record. And the man who set that record, Joey Votto. 42 games in 2007. That's a league company for Alejo. Another 2-2 coming home. Chop to the right side. Moving to his right is Rivas. He'll underhand to Robertson. Another 1-2-3 inning. 4 in the books for Robertson, who has been stifling so far against the Stripers. Offense struggling to get going. Moran entering the game here in the top of the 5th inning, facing Lucan Baker, Alfonso Rivas, and Moises Gomez. Dipping down and steering his first pitch inside is Brian Moran. Baker so far tonight has been on base in both of his trips to the plate. Walked and then was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. Moran sinks down and sweeps one just off the plate. 2-0 the count. Brian Moran, it's for a guy who's 35 years of age, it's been a year of getting out of your comfort zone. He has started 2 games this year for the Stripers, but has yet to find the zone in this at-bat, missing with a four-seam fastball at 82 miles per hour, and it's a 3-0 count to Baker. The guy, for all his pop and his strikeout numbers, does walk, and he does here for the 2nd time. Lucan Baker, who has yet to score a run, has been on base every time he's come to the plate tonight. He is 3 for 3. 2 walks and wore one off the ankle back in the 3rd. So Moran entering here in this 2024 season with Gwinnett for the 5th time. 3.52 ERA, and his first pitch, time is called for, and a balk is called against Moran. My goodness. Brian Moran has been called for a balk, moving Baker down to second, and he was called for one very early in his outing last Sunday against Louisville. Seems to be a motion that he does as soon as somebody gets on first that he's getting called for. And now he jumps in front with a first pitch strike. So after 4 consecutive balls to Lucan Baker, he works one across the zone to Alfonso Rivas. No balls and a strike. And, oh my goodness, Moran has just been called for another balk. And Baker is going to get pointed down to third. He has not put the ball in play. There's been one pitch delivered, one recorded pitch delivered after he reached on a walk. Now the Stripers have to draw the infield in because a pair of balks from Moran, and now the one-strike pitch off the outside. Sliding to his left on a backhand stop, Sebastian Rivero. And it's 1-1. 2 balks to in the same at-bat. And Moran now up to 4 on the young season. This is crazy. 1-1 pitch. Lifted. A slicer shallow center. It's going to splash in. Baker comes down to score from third. RBI single for Alfonso Rivas with an assist from Brian Moran and a pair of balks. Now this outing has started on a sour note for Moran. Walked Lucan Baker on 4 pitches and then balked him to third. B-A-L-K, balked him to third. And then a single from Rivas has put Memphis ahead 3-0. Swinging a miss by Moises Gomez. Righty batting right fielder in the box to fall behind 0-1. 4 balks on the season for Brian Moran. And that one played a factor in the Stripers dropping even further behind to Memphis. Fastball pops the mitt, and it's 0-2 on a called strike to Gomez. Rivas, the third different Redbird with an RBI tonight. They've now scored in consecutive frames. 0-2 from Moran. Lefty dips down. It's foul back to the screen. Again, you have to use your imagination, especially to those of you listening on the radio, for a fastball from Moran. It's 83 miles per hour. It's not very fast at all, especially for these batters. His 0-2 pitch is high and away. That was the four-seamer at 82 miles per hour, but he pairs that with a sweeper that he slows way down to 68 miles per hour, and it has so much side bite to it, it makes that fastball look very fast. 1-2 pitch. That is the sweeper. Clicked off the bat down the first base line. Going to dribble foul. So having to move back to first is Alfonso Rivas. No outs. Third batter of the inning, Moises Gomez. Guy who led all of minor league baseball with 39 homers in 2022. On the 1-2 pitch, he goes down swinging. Elevated fastball from Moran, and Gomez took a hearty cut at it, but swung under it for strike 3. So Brian Moran picks up his first strikeout of the outing. Overall, it is the 7th strikeout for the Stripers tonight. Jared Young flicks it back to the screen. (0-1) on Jared Young. Here's the pitch from Moran. A sweeper dives down and away. 1-1 the count. 3-0 Memphis on 7 hits. First of which a leadoff homer in the top of the first from Jose Fermin, which started the scoring. It's been all Memphis since. 1-1 pitch. Young dips down and lifts a fly ball foul. Back up and out of play. Jared Young, a pair of strikeouts against Zach Logue. Logue had 6 in his 4 innings of work, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks. Did allow that homer to Fermin. 1-2 from Moran. Young takes a fastball above the zone. Next pitch will be number 18 for Brian Moran. And that's kind of been the story tonight. when a new pitcher comes into the game. Memphis is going to work some long at-bats. 2-2, Moran set at his chest, delivers, and it is speared right to second base where Waddell is standing, and he catches the line drive at chest height for the second out. That was barreled up off the bat at 102 miles per hour. And fortunately for Gwinnett, they had him played right there. Otherwise, that's going into center field, and Rivas is taken off. Now it's Pedro Pajes. Moran deals in the dirt. Blocking it is Sebastian Rivero. Rivas holds true to first. Pajes with a single and a strikeout tonight, 1 for 2. 25-year-old Venezuelan, his third game of the series. Watches outside, doesn't bite on a sweeper that Moran tries to bring in through the back door. Can't get enough bite on it. It's going to call for new baseball. Moran eyes the video board in right center field, gauging the count and where we're at in this inning. We got a runner on first with 2 down. Memphis, another run on the board to extend their lead to 3-0. On the RBI single by Alfonso Rivas, 2-0 pitch. Sweeper breaks off the inside, and it's 3-0. Rivas has not left first. After that RBI single, a strikeout to Moises Gomez, and Jared Young lined out sharply to Luke Waddell. 3-0. Ball 4. Never close off the outside. Down to second goes Rivas, and down to first, Pedro Pajes. That is Pajes' second time on base tonight. And now here's Mike Antico. Antico becomes the 6th batter of the inning. And Moran pitching with 2 on. First pitch to Antico. That is very close, but ball 1. Fastball that just missed somewhere. Stripers still have 2 challenges, and that kind of feels like a spot you might want to use one with 2 on. 1-0 from Moran. Click back to the screen, foul. Almost timing that up was Antico. And that swing had the intensity to maybe get his first homer of the season. It's a hard park to hit balls out of, but if you're going to, right field or right center field is probably your best bet. Lefty batting Antico on 1-1. Takes Rivero out of the crouch on a ball that was off the outside, just gunned it into center field. That throw was never close. Trying to backpick Rivas, who was going back to second base, took an extended secondary lead. Out of the crouch quickly was Rivero. And, I mean, that was halfway in between the shortstop and the center fielder, Martinez. That's a tough mistake there with 2 outs, as it puts both runners into scoring position. Rivas down to third. Pajes down to second. 2-1 on Antico. Swings and hits it back to the screen. This is a good night offensively for Memphis that the Stripers are fortunate has not been great. They have just missed a lot of foul balls. Deuces wild. Moran's pitch. He got him. Strike 3. Locked him up and sat him down, but Antico's not headed back to the bench. He's calling for a challenge. It is strike 3. Antico, now you can see it on the video board in right center field in big red imagery. That caught the southeast corner of the strike zone. Moran out of a jam. 48 pitches before that 49th that was given a ride. Well, that'll wake you up if you're Robertson, who was on cruise control. His 1-strike pitch and a swing and a foul tip right at the plate. Rattles around the catcher's mitt of Pedro Pajes, and it's 0-2. Loud foul ball, and then a foul ball that travels maybe an inch. And it all adds up to Garcia having to protect. Switch hitter in from the left side against the 21-year-old righty for the Redbirds, who deals, and a swing and a miss. Nope, that was just tipped at the plate. It was a wild swing from Garcia. It was hard to hear that he even caught a piece of it, but he did hit it right back around the plate once again. 3 pitches, 3 foul balls. Now the 0-2 pitch comes home and skips in. Through 4 innings, it is not a no-hitter, it's not a perfect game, but it is very close to perfection. About 1 zip code over for Robertson. 1-2, Garcia swings and misses. It looked like he was wielding a lightsaber there, trying to catch up to a pitch up and out of the zone. Nothing but wrists as he swung and missed on that, and that is strikeout number 5 for Robertson. It ties his season high. 15 strikeouts over his last 3 outings. Sem Robertson is carving right now, and the Stripers need to find an answer. Back-to-back golden starts for the Redbirds after Gordon Graceffo worked a quality start last night. Lou Guadell takes a cold strike at the knees. That was a changeup to start Waddell, who struck out swinging with 1 out in the second his last time up. A 1 pitch in the air to right field. Going back, Gomez at the track, at the wall, makes the catch, crashing into the pads about a body length to the right of the Kubota sign in right center field. And Luke Waddell, who hit that ball 371 feet, sees it run out of steam in the power alley for the second out. But now the second time through the order, the heart of the order, 4, 5, and 6 for Gwinnett, has hit the ball a little bit harder and put together some better at-bats against Robertson. Phillip Evans watches a first pitch strike. Cutter front door into the strike zone, and Robertson, who has thrown just 56 pitches tonight, has Evans down 0-1. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Robertson trying to work through 5 innings with just 57 pitches behind him. His season high is 5 innings, but he's thrown a lot more pitches to get through 5 innings in this season so far. 0-2 pitch. Evans swings and misses at a breaking ball down and away. And Sem Robertson's spectacular night continues for the Redbirds. 6 strikeouts, new season high. And with 58 pitches, he has set the Stripers down in order through 5 straight innings. We burst into the top of the 6th with a first pitch strike from Brian Moran. Moran working against the top of the order, Jose Fermin, Cesar Prieto, and Thomas Sajasi. 3-0 Memphis. 0-1 between Moran and Fermin. First time these two are facing off tonight. Moran deals outside, ball 1. 7th batter of the game that Moran has faced. Worked out of some serious traffic back in the 5th, stranding 2 on the base path. 1-1. Fermin takes ball 2. Very close, but Moran doesn't find the zone on a pitch where he really would have liked to jump in front of Fermin. That changes the entire tenor of this at-bat. Here's his 2-1. Fermin swinging, lifts one to the alleyway in left center field, but chasing over is Luis Garcia, and he makes the catch right in front of J.P. Martinez, who raced over, and I don't think there was any communication between the left fielder and the center fielder, and they avert disaster out there in the left center gap. And almost ran each other over. Martinez in a dead sprint from center field. It looked like it was going to be Garcia's play to make the entire way. It was not very far away from where Garcia was playing, as Prieto takes ball 1 outside. And Martinez was charging from in between the 400 numbers in center field, which is kind of like the goalpost for ordinary center field positioning here at Coolray Field now. 1-0 breaks into the zone. Back-to-back sweepers from Moran. And it's a ball and a strike. That sweeper at 69 miles per hour. 1-1 to Prieto. Another sweeper, this time in tight. 2-1 the count. Prieto, RBI double back in the 4th inning that made it 2-0 Memphis. Added on in the 5th. 2-1 off the end of the bat. rolled out to second. Velasquez had to wait for it. Collects and throws out Prieto for the second out. Now Thomas Sajaci with 43 on his back and no batting gloves to mention. And you got to love a guy like Sajaci who's super old school about his plate approach, about the most minimalist you can be in the box as he takes in tight around the shoe tops on a sweeper from Moran for ball one. He's 21 years of age from Carlsbad, California, and if you dropped him into a game in 1971, he would fit right in. Takes a strike here. Ball and a strike. Has enjoyed a pretty good series against Gwinnett so far. Pretty good start to the season after he opened the season with Memphis for the first time. 2-1 the count after Moran misses. Was the Texas League most valuable player last year. Hit .313 with Frisco with the Rangers, and then was traded midway through the season. 2-1 pitch, and he tees one up. Deep center field. Martinez racing back, looking up. It is gone. Now it is blasted out of the yard by Sajaci, and with no batting gloves and grown man strength at 21, he has hit Memphis's second homer of the night and the series, and it's 4-0. And with the way the Stripers' offense is going, as Sajaci crosses home, that 4-0 deficit is daunting here in the top of the sixth. Three of the first five batters in the order for Memphis have an RBI now. Two of the first three a home run. And Lucan Baker, guy who can bash in the box, takes a called strike. One strike pitch from Moran, who dips down and deals off the outside. This is not typical of a reliever throwing 40 pitches, but the story for Moran this year has been a hybrid role. He's been a starter twice. 1-1 pitch is hit very high in the air, out to center field. Tracking it is Martinez, takes a few steps back, pulls up and makes the catch. Third out of the sixth. Moran gets 3 of 4 out, but that one that he didn't, a solo home run by Thomas Sajaci. Luis Liberato 0 for 1 tonight, facing Sem Robertsa for the second time. As we begin the last of the sixth, 3-0 Memphis. Robertsa pitches, and Liberato bounces this out to second. On 2 hops, a very playable one for Jose Fermin. His sidewinding throw is in time. Liberato, a pair of groundouts to Fermin tonight in both his trips to the plate. 1 pitch, 1 out. In the bottom of the sixth, Gwinnett trying to find some offense, as after a really nice performance put together by the Stripers on the Tuesday game, the series opener, where they beat Memphis by a score of 6-5, as Sebastian Rivero, the right-handed batting catcher, takes a called strike. Beat Memphis 6-5 on Tuesday. The offense has gone cold for Gwinnett. 2 runs on Wednesday, just a lone run last night. Though they did have an early lead after that run was scored in the third. 1 strike pitch to Rivero. Check swing. Did he go? Peeled down to the first base umpire, Michael Raines, and he says yes. Didn't look like it from my vantage point. But Raines, the only real authority on the matter, and he said Rivero's top of the bat was pointing at him at some point in that check swing. 0-2. Robertson deals. Breaking ball, very close. Dip below the zone. They want to call for a challenge. Probably not going to be successful here. A nice frame job attempted by Pajes, and his challenge is unsuccessful. ABS going to tell us how far missed by 1.5 inches. A slider that has some curveball move to it, gyro slider. Vertical drop, and that drop below the zone. 1-2, here it comes. Rivero chops it down the third baseline, foul. On pitch number 62, now 63 for Robertson. 1 challenge left for Memphis. They enjoy a 4-0 lead in this ball game off of 8 hits. 1-2 from Robertson. Gone swinging is Rivero. Pitch in the dirt, picked out of the dirt by Pajes. Plenty of time to retire Rivero, and there are 2 outs. Strikeout number 7 for Sem Robertson. His career high is 9 strikeouts in AAA, and that was achieved on September the 15th against the Norfolk Tides. That's a pretty good squad to get 9 strikeouts against. Andrew Velasquez, switch hitting batter in from the left side, patiently watches ball 1 on a slider that never worked its way back across the plate. But 7 tonight for Robertson after Graceffo racked up a season high in strikeouts for Memphis, the starter, last night. Robertson misfires high to Velasquez. It's 2-0. Velasquez ahead in the count. The windup and the pitch. Swinging a drive out to right field. Gomez backtracks and makes the catch. It was hard hit, but just off the end of the bat as Velasquez just missed extra bases. Third pitcher of the ball game used by Kaneko Teixeira, second man out of the bullpen. It is the right-handed, hard-throwing, lawn hair wearing Grant Holmes on the bump. Holmes tucks it under his chin, delivers, and we're right back up into the mid-90s for Stripers pitcher. Holmes just off the outside, ball 1. But Sebastian Rivero has called for a challenge. Gwinnett does have 2 to work with, and the pitch travels in. It did clip the outside part of the zone. Again, by a centimeter, if that. But that's why we have ABS challenge. 1 strike pitch from Holmes is sent home and slashed to the left side, foul. Hit the net and then dropped down into the Gwinnett dugout. No balls, 2 strikes. For Holmes, fastball slider mix. And the slider in the mid-80s. Fastball can run up as high as 96 miles per hour. Started Alfonso Rivas, the lefty batting first baseman with a fastball. Comes back with a fastball and Rivas is gone. 96 miles per hour. And Rivas couldn't handle the heat. Grant Holmes starts his night with a strikeout. And it's the 9th strikeout from Gwinnett pitching so far tonight. Logue with 6, Moran with 2, and now Holmes enters the ball game with 1. Moises Gomez in from the right side. Holmes from straight down the rubber. Guns one past the bat of Gomez, who swings and misses to fall behind 0-1. Holmes in for Moran. Moran allowed 2 runs in 2 innings of work. Holmes ready with his 1-strike pitch. Here it comes. Gomez does get the barrel on it this time, sending it soaring out of play toward the parking lot off of first. 0-2 the count. Those 2 runs that Moran allowed, pretty notable. It snaps an 11 1/3 inning scoreless streak for the Gwinnett bullpen in this series. 0-2 pitch, slider, goodbye. Moises Gomez locked up and sat down. Right time to pull the string for Grant Holmes. And that brings up Jared Young. Well, Holmes is carving up to start his outing. After Moran looked a little shaky for Gwinnett, had a rough time settling in, had those 2 balks, which loomed large against the Stripers because it allowed Lucan Baker to score a run. In the 5th inning, they made it 3-0. 1-0 from Holmes. And he misses the bat of Young. Another swing and a miss. And a lot of whiffs so far from Memphis batters against Holmes. 1-1 pitch. Young takes a breaking ball below the zone. 2-1 the count. And Grant Holmes has come out guns blazing. 9 pitches so far in the ball game thrown by Holmes. And a lot of swings and misses with that fastball. 2-1 pitch. Holmes guns it in there. It's fouled back to the screen. Deuce is wild. Nobody on base. 4-0 Memphis in the top of the 7th. The Stripers will need some offense in the home half. They will have the top of their order due up once more. Sem Robertson has faced the minimum, and I don't see anybody in the Memphis bullpen. 2-2. Holmes kicks, steals, and misses outside. Never got enough spin on that breaking ball. Never got on top of it, and it floated up and out of the zone. Curveball at 83. Holmes will mix that in along with the slider. Now the full count pitch to Young. Here it comes. Young taps it to the right side. On 2 bounces, backing up is Evans. Underhand to Holmes. Tags the bag in front of Young. And a scoreless 7th worked by Grant Holmes. Continuing what has been a very strong series for the Gwinnett bullpen. Holmes a scoreless frame. And the Stripers will chase 4 in the last of the 7th. Top of the order. Wall, Martinez, and Lopez due up on MyCountry993.com and Valley Live. Tagged down, attempting to steal second. Breaking ball below the zone. Check swing by Wall. He did not go. 2 balls and a strike. Stripers trying to find some offense here. 6 scoreless tonight. Got to go all the way back to the 3rd inning last night. Last time Gwinnett got a run. It has been 12 consecutive scoreless innings for this Gwinnett offense as Wall watches the 2-1 miss, and it's 3-1. Roberts says retired everyone in a row, 17 consecutive. As he faces Wall here with his 3-1 pitch. Yanked on the ground, foul. Green light special for Forrest. And he smoked one just outside the chalk down the first base line. Cutter at 89. If Robertson can work through the 7th inning, it'll be for the first time in his AAA career. His 3-2 to Wall is just off the outside with a breaking ball. Couldn't backdoor slider at 81, and Forrest Wall has become the first Gwinnett base runner since the 1st inning. And that was also Forrest Wall. But it's the right guy to get on base if you want to start a rally. JP Martinez, who's been so hot to start the season, average now down below 300. He can bump it right back up on top of the base hit. Takes inside for ball 1. Cutter at 86. Started inside and stayed inside. Lefty batting Martinez has struck out and grounded out to first. Alejo Lopez on deck has done the same. Trying to get the better of Robertson here in the 7th. 1-0 pitch is low. And Sem Robertson, after absolutely carving up Gwinnett batters after Forrest Wall singled in the 1st inning, has done something he's rarely done tonight, which is fall behind and fall behind a big way. Fell down 3-1 to Wall. 2-0 here to Martinez. Out of the stretch is Robertson. His pitch is taken by Martinez. Snap throw back to first. Diving back safely. Forrest Wall calls for time. It is Marvel's Defenders of the Diamond Night. Stripers have their specialty uniforms. They'll be auctioned off after this ball game on GoStripers.com. 3-0 to Martinez. Skips away from the catcher. It's a called strike that clipped the glove of Pajes, and he closed his catcher's mitt before the ball got there. And a momentary hiccup in concentration is going to push Forrest Wall into score position as he advances on the pass ball. It's still Martinez in the box. After the 3-0 pitch found the strike zone but skipped away from Pajes. The 3-1 from Robertson. Here it comes. Martinez swings and chops it foul. Cutter with some late sink to it, and that's what allowed Martinez to get on top of it instead of barreling it up. In center field, Antico is straight away, a little bit deep. Ordinary positions in right field and left field against Martinez ahead of this 3-2 pitch. Robertson brings it home. Martinez bounces it. A high chopper to second from the outfield grass. Fermin winds up and off his back foot throws out Martinez. Down to third goes Wall. 1 out here in the last of the 7th. And JP is 0 for 3. Now Alejo Lopez. coming off a multi-hit night last night, a night where the Stripers couldn't find any offense. And unfortunately for Gwinnett, they have struggled even more tonight at the plate, which is certainly a credit to these Redbirds pitchers, but also illustrates the offensive winner that the Stripers suddenly find themselves in. Lopez takes a cold strike. Cutter at 88. It's a brief one because Gwinnett got into several shootouts against Omaha in the prior series. A lot of low-scoring games in this one. 0-1, tucked inside. Easy take for Lopez. 1 ball and 1 strike. The games of 18 runs scored against Omaha. Stripers won a game 7-6, lost one 6-13, 13-6. 1-1. Lopez grounds it off the glove of Robertson. Karam's out to Fermin. Throw on the run, get the out at first, but the run scores, and the Stripers finally break through in the last of the 7th. Force wall, walked, advance on a pass ball, advance on a ground out, and now an RBI ground out for Alejo Lopez that goes 1-4-3, but Stripers will take anything at this point. They snap the scoreless streak at 12 offensively, and got to be a little fitting that Forrest, who's not wearing number 1 this year, does become the first run of the ball game for the Stripers in his first game back with Gwinnett. Now Larry Garcia watches the first pitch low, ball 1. But they were unable to get Lopez to reach base there as it caromed off the very webbing, top of the webbing of the glove from Robertson. Here's his 1-0, Garcia takes off the outside. Easy take. 2 balls, no strikes. After the ricochet, it just rattled right on to Jose Fermin, who's been pretty busy in this frame, retiring both the Striper outs. 2-0, Garcia started his motion after the pitch and then watched ball 3 off the outside. That was a fastball at 91. Larry Garcia, a ground out to Jose Fermin and a strikeout in the 5th. Ahead 3-0. He takes a get-me-over fastball 4 strike. 90 miles an hour from Sem Robertson. Robertson having to work in this frame. Is 3-1 to Garcia. Is off the outside. Second walk of the inning. Memphis does have some action in the bullpen. But nobody's coming out to the mound as of yet. After going 6 scoreless with no walks, now the Stripers have drawn 2. First pitch to Luke Waddell, down and away. And another Striper batter jumps in front. Gwinnett had drawn 13 walks to Memphis's 8 entering this ball game. And tonight's been a much different story. Memphis has walked 6 times to just 2 for the Stripers. Waddell watches a strike. Ball and a strike to Luke Waddell. Gwinnett has its second base run of their inning. They cashed in the first one. Forrest Wall advanced on a pass ball and came around to score on an RBI ground out from Alejo Lopez. From the stretch, Robertson's pitch is hitting the air to left center field. Racing back, Antico, reaching up, makes the catch shy of the track, and runs into the Georgia power sign in the power alley in left center field. And the Stripers miss an opportunity to cut the lead in half as Waddell misses a home run by 15 feet and a double by mere feet. Stranding 1, but the Stripers finally get a run in, break the scoreless streak. Forrest Wall comes around to score, and it is 4-1 Memphis as we move to the top of the 8th. Grant Holmes misses down and away as we break into the top of the 8th. That was the first pitch from Holmes, and he falls behind 1-0. Pedro Pajes, who has been on base 2 out of 3 trips to the plate tonight, facing the righty Holmes for the first time. Grant's 1-0 is hit back to the screen. Pajes almost had that timed up. Just got underneath it. Pajes does have a homer on the young season. playing in just his 6th game of the year for Memphis. Holmes with that black mitt tucked under his right shin. Lifts the leg and deals and misses high and tight. Keanu Reeves' move from Pajes as he leans back and out of the way of a pitch that was headed for the bill of his helmet. 2-1. Holmes with the closed-off stance. The 80s rock band hair flowing out of the back of his cap. And the pitch is a strike. 2-2. Time's going to be called for by Pajes. 8 hits in the contest for Memphis. Coming off a 7th inning where the Stripers outscored them for the first time in a single frame in this ball game. Gwinnett able to push across a run. Made it 4-1. 2-2. Pajes sends it right back to the screen, and that just grazed the barrel. Just chipped the very top of the barrel to keep Pajes in this at-bat. That was a curveball from Holmes at 86. What does he come with on this 2-2? Here it comes. It's a fastball. Went with the flames, and Pajes spoiled it, sending it back up and out of play. 18th pitch for Holmes. Worked a perfect top of the 7th, a scoreless top of the 7th. First scoreless inning that Stripers had limited Memphis to since the 3rd. Another 2-2. Hit hard and slicing into right field. This one's got a chance. It is going to land shy of the wall in one hop onto the warning track and up against the wall. And it's a leadoff double for Pedro Pajes. 2-hit night for Pajes. And the 4th extra base hit of the night for Memphis. So Pajes, after not hitting in his 3 at-bats over 2 games entering the night, now has a single and a double and a walk. Mike Antico chops it foul. Antico, last man in the order, the center fielder. Singled his first time up, flew out to left field and struck out looking in the 5th. 1-strike pitch, and that is poured across the zone from Holmes. Oh, 0-2. Holmes set under his chin. Deals, and a slider is hooked foul off of first. Holmes, 27 years of age, from Conway, South Carolina. Signed by the Braves as a free agent midway through the AAA season in 2022. Originally was the Dodgers' first-round pick in 2014. Spent some time with the A's as well. 0-2 pitch to Antico, very high. Well, Antico has been with the Cardinals his entire career, an 8th-round pick in 2021. And the University of Texas. Same school that Bryce Elder went to. Antico, 26 years of age, originally from Colt Neck, New Jersey, down a ball and 2 strikes. He's swinging at the pitch and lifts a fly ball into left field. It'll drift over towards where Larry Garcia is as he jogs into shallow left center and puts it away. That brings up Fermin, responsible for 2 of the 4 runs scored by Memphis tonight. One of those was his solo homer in the 1st, and singled and scored with 2 outs in the 4th. Another homer for Memphis tonight was Thomas Ajayce's solo homer with 2 outs in the 6th. First pitch, Fermin takes just off the outside, and Holmes goes with the slider against Fermin. One and 0, Holmes throws, and that is a called strike. That time dials up the fastball at 95. Fermin got his first taste of Major League action last year, hitting .235 in 21 games with the Cardinals. On this 1-1, Fermin hits it back into the mid of Sebastian Rivero for strike 2. Played against the Stripers in 6 games, had a homer, 4 RBIs. So far in this series, has 2 extra base hits and an RBI. Also 2 of the 5 stolen bases on the season. On 1-2, he just flicks the bat at it and somehow caught a piece. Able to pop that up and out of play. Another emergency swing for Fermin tonight. He's got so much control with the bat that he's able to spoil pitches that a lot of guys cannot get to right now. Fermin hitting .400 on the season, with a 2 for 3 night so far. And we're getting to the point of the season where the sample size is not super small and it's just a hot start. 1-2, Fermin twists out of the way, but did he go? No, he did not. He was twisting out of the way of a high fastball that wasn't really in tight as much as it was just above the zone, and that kind of triggered a motion from his hands where he almost went around. Instead, the first base umpire, Michael Raines, said he did not go. Now the 2-2 pitch. Fermin lashes one in the left field, but directly at Larry Garcia, who squats down and makes the one-handed catch. There are flyouts to Garcia in this inning after the leadoff double by Pedro Pajes. It's 4-1 Memphis with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Memphis has led wire to wire here, scoring once in the first, and then a trio of single-run scoring innings in innings 4, 5, and 6. Made it 4-0 for the Stripers. Got one the home half of the 7th. Cesar Prieto's going to take a strike on the outer third. Memphis does not have a challenge left. Gwinnett has 2. We'll see if the Stripers can put something together in the home half of the 8th. Holmes set under his chin, deals, and that is tapped foul right at the plate. Off the bat of Prieto, who's had a pretty good night himself. RBI double in the 4th. Another guy hitting north of 300 for the Redbirds. Grant Holmes in that gradient navy blue and black defenders of the diamond jersey. That 2-tone cap, white cap with the blue bill. Baseball tucked under his chin. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Down goes Prieto as Holmes drops the hammer with a curveball and gets him on strikes. After tying a career high in innings pitched, Sam Roberts goes to work in the 8th inning with a first pitch strike to the switch hitting. Excuse me, not switch hitting, but Phillip Evans. Luis Liberato will bat next. And Evans falls behind 0-1. Next pitch to Evans, swing and a miss. Evans' third at-bat of the night. He is grounded out to third and struck out. 6 strikeout victim claimed on the road to 7 for Robertson. And his 93rd pitch is right now to Evans. Breaking ball down and away. Skips off the chest protector of Pedro Pajes. 1-2. The next out that Robertson gets, he will have established a new career high in innings pitched. And if he gets Evans, he will have done so against a guy who's spent time in the majors. He's carved through a roster with plenty of experience here. So many of these Stripers, especially offensively, have seen playing time in the show. 1-2 to Evans, and he gets on top of it, bounces it foul off a third. 3 times Robertson has gone 7 innings. In high A when he was with the Toronto system, and in single A in 2021. 1-2, Evans swings and misses. The 8th strikeout for Robertson. And he's very close to tying a career high in that category as well. His career high is 9, and he's got 8, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. Now it's Luis Liberato. Robertson in his motion. Brings the arms over the head, brings it home, and it's fouled back to the screen. Very classic motion. Braves fans, if you're picturing in your mind's eye, think Charlie Morton. Jack Leiter, a young guy just like Robertson, kind of has a similar motion, bring the arms over the head. Saw it a lot more back in the day, not as much today, but Robertson's got that kind of old school motion. He's 0-1 missed outside, so it's ball and a strike to Liberato. Stripers chasing 3 here in the last of the 8th, and a swing and a miss by Liberato. He goes right through a changeup at 86. And a good mix used by Robertson so far. Again, the only pitcher that Memphis has run out to the mound tonight. 1-2, Liberato swings and misses, and that ties a career high for Robertson. He's got back-to-back strikeouts to start his 8th inning of the night. And the Stripers right now are trying to slow down a runaway 18-wheeler going downhill. And that's what it feels like. Nobody has really had much success except for Forrest Wall. This will be the 100th pitch for Robertson to Sebastian Rivero. And first pitch swinging, he pops it up. Back of second. Fermin now creeps back onto the dirt and squeezes 2 hands above his head. Another 1-2-3 inning worked by Robertson in 7 of 8 innings. Back at Coolray Field, that new pitcher is Sacramento, California's Ray Kerr, left-handed pitcher, 29 years of age. And he'll start his night. The Stripers down 4-1 against Thomas Sajaci. The young bare-handed batting shortstop for the Redbirds, who has a homer in his only hit of the night. That was back in the 6th. And before Sajaci faces Kerr, Kerr's going to get called for an auto ball, not being ready as the pitch clock wound down. An auspicious start to his outing. Now the 1-0 pitch. Sajaci tries to ambush him, hits it back to the screen, foul. 4-1 here in Gwinnett. Meanwhile, at Truist Park, in Cobb County, 1-1 pitch. Sajaci takes outside. The Braves lead it 7-3 over the Texas Rangers. Teams that represent 2 of the last 3 World Series champions in baseball. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. As Ray Kerr elevated that fastball, and Sajaci a stumbling cut underneath it. In that game at Truist, Ronald Acuna does not have a hit, nor does Austin Riley or Matt Olson. None of the usual stars. Michael Harris only has 1 hit. The guy who was lit it up tonight, Travis d'Arnaud, 2-2 pitch in tight, backing out of the way, Sajaci. d'Arnaud is 3 for 3 with 3 home runs and 6 RBIs, and that ties a career high for the Braves catcher. 3-2 pitch, and Sajaci spoils it, knocking it back to the pads, foul. That 6 RBI game that he's got going tonight, tying the 6 RBI game he had June the 2nd, 2022 at Colorado. Had 2 homers in that game. 3-2, very close. Stripers are not going to call for a challenge as Kerr missed up and out of the zone. Nope, they are going to call for a challenge. Missed that initial tap of the helmet from Sebastian Rivero. It was close and definitely worthy of a challenge, but it did miss. Northeast corner of the strike zone. And that's a tough call to get, especially when it's just the human umpire, because optically it's the furthest away from the plate and the furthest away from the batter. It's hard to measure those up. Now it's Lucan Baker, and he's way in front of a breaking ball, tapping it foul. Because of that, you're rarely going to get those strikes, but now with the ABS challenge system, you're going to get more of them because that calls a true strike zone. A long pause here by Ray Kerr, and Sebastian Rivera is going to go out to the mound. I think Kerr is having a little bit of trouble with pitch comp. 10 years ago, if I were to say things like ABS and pitch comp, you would not know what on earth I'm talking about at a baseball game. But that shows you how much the game has changed over even just the last decade, 2014 till now. Now you have pitchers getting calls punched in on a keypad from the catcher, or they'll be punched in by the pitching coach. And PitchCom has moved its way down to even collegiate baseball. It's just an entirely different way of going about things. Now you have this ABS challenge system where cameras will pinpoint exactly where the pitch is relative to the strike zone. The strike zone adjusts based on the batter's height, batter's stance. Unbelievable stuff. We are truly in 21st century baseball. And these technological advancements, they're just going to continue to grow over the course of this century. 0-1. Kerr's got the runner picked off, so JC's hung up. It is lobbed, leaping grab by Waddell, the shortstop. Now they go back to the third baseman Waddell, the shortstop, made the catch, and he tags out to JC. So initially the leaping grab was by Velasquez, and Waddell is the man who puts him away. There's a long lift of the leg by Ray Kerr there. And in that long suspension in the air, so JC started taking off for second, and Kerr caught him leaning. First out of the top of the ninth, and now the 0-1 pitch to Baker. Breaking ball under the zone, ball one. One and one the count on Baker. Here it comes. High fly ball into right field, but very shallow. Liberato coming in and towards the foul line makes the catch. Fly out to right in the fourth trip to the plate for Luke and Baker. Or for the fifth time, because now for the fifth time, here comes Alfonso Rivas the first. 2 for 3 tonight with a sac bunt. And Rivas watches the first pitch yanked off the outside, ball one. Lefty on lefty matchup. Rivas with a pair of singles sandwiched around that sac bunt. Struck out swinging in the seventh against Grant Holmes. And here he drags one on the ground foul down the first base line. Curveball from Kerr. One and one, Ray Kerr. Big leg kick, and he deals. Swing and a miss from Rivas. That fastball had a little extra integrity to it. 95 miles per hour. Almost at the bottom of the hour in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Ray Kerr, 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Rivas down on strikes. And it is exactly what the Stripers needed. Well, the night is mercifully over for Sam Roberts from the perspective of the Gwinnett Stripers. He had some of the best stuff he's had at the AAA level, and the young righty from the Netherlands, very, very good. Bordering on sensational. 8 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. It was not earned because of the pass ball in the 7th from Pedro Pajes. 2 walks and a career-high tying 9 strikeouts. Andrew Velasquez in the box, and the switch hitting Velasquez in from the right side this time takes a called strike. The new pitcher in the ballgame is Connor Thomas. Southpaw, a 3/4 arm delivery. Chopped to the left side and kicked around at third by Cesar Prieto. Andrew Velasquez reaches. It was a slow roller up the third base line. And really the only play to get the speedy Velasquez for Prieto was the one he attempted, the barehand pick at third. And he couldn't pick it cleanly off the turf at Coolray Field. Now Forrest Wall, only striper to reach base twice tonight, takes a cold strike. With Andrew Velasquez on at first. And the Stripers finally getting their second hit of the night. That was ruled a base hit. 0-1 pitch. Wall a little bit late. Sends it flying foul towards the player's lot off of third. Connor Thomas, 1-0 with a 2.57 ERA. This is the 9th game he's appeared in. 4 earned runs in 14 innings pitched. 2 walks against 13 strikeouts. Opponents batting .260 off him. 0-2 pitch, and Wall strikes out. Pitch up and into Wall, and Forrest just kind of dipped underneath that. Wasn't able to barrel it up. 10th strikeout of the night for Gwinnett batter. J.P. Martinez was the first to strike out back in the first. 0 for 3 nights so far for J.P., and he falls behind a front door slider from Connor Thomas. Thomas lifts the leg and deals. Martinez swings and pops it out of play off of third. Thomas faced the Stripers 4 times last year. 1-0 record, 4.15 ERA through 17 1/3 against Gwinnett. And he started all 3 games he pitched. He's 0-2, comes home, and Martinez takes high. It looked like that was going to miss way above the zone and had some late life breaking to the glove side for the lefty Thomas. 0-2. Here it comes. Martinez watches, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts after the leadoff single. And Gwinnett down to their final out. Memphis trying to draw even in the series, and the recipe the same as their first win last night when they held Gwinnett to just a run. Quality start from Gordon Groseffel. This one qualifies as a supernova gem tonight from Sem Robertson as Lopez falls behind 0-1. The first pitch slider. Lopez as the only Stripers RBI tonight, his 6th of the year with Gwinnett. On the 0-1, Lopez chops it to the left side. Going to be a tough play for Sajasi. Throws on the run. Nice pick at first by Rivas, and the ball game is over. Sem Robertson, 21 years of age from the Netherlands. And the Dutchman turns in a dazzling performance tonight from Memphis.